In this tutorial I'll be guiding you through the process to make my house bouquet. It was designed in 2018 as I was getting a lot of requests for bouquets in Harry Potter colours. And it was quite a trend to want to have the bridal bouquet with all of the house colours and the bridesmaid bouquets in individual house colours. So this is a small bouquet and it's suitable really as a bridesmaid arrangement. However, if you're looking for an understated arrangement, then this might be ideal as well. So it measures about 23 centimetres tall, including the handpiece, and 22 to 23 centimetres wide. It's got 3 book roses and 3 paper tea roses. It also has an array of coloured paper leaves. The handpiece is bound in natural coloured twine, and I usually tie 2 lengths of ribbon to the top of the binding or the top of the handpiece. You can customise this any way that you like. So if you're new to my flowers and my tutorials, I will be referencing the Bouquet Toolkit playlist throughout the video. This is a series of 5 videos which will show you all of the basics so that I don't have to keep repeating myself in every single one of my tutorials. So you can use the timestamps or chapters in this video and in those videos to watch the part of the video or re-watch a part of the video that you need to watch to learn what you need to learn. So I'm just going to summarise the equipment that you will need to make this posy. You'll need my standard petal and leaf template sheet, which you can download via my website. And it's just an image file that if you download it to your computer and print it out at 100%, it will be exactly the right size. If you don't have a printer, I have put up a video on how to draw this out yourself using measurements and a ruler. So yeah, I'll put the link for that in the video description as well. You will need petal template number 1, for the book page roses, and petal template number 2 for the tea roses. And for the leaves you'll need leaf template number 1. You'll also need, from my standard equipment list, a roll of 30 cm wide kitchen foil, a pair of scissors, PVA glue and some high-tack glue, some regular sewing thread, some wire, some natural coloured twine, some dark green florist tape and some wallpaper paste. If you need further details on any of these materials, do visit part 1 of the Bouquet Toolkit. So if I can figure out how to do it, I'll put a little card up on the screen, and if you click on that card, it will just cue it up to play for you next. So in addition to those pieces of equipment, you'll also need your papers. You can use any old book that you like to make these roses, and if this is the first time you're attempting making the roses, I do recommend that you use an old book from a second-hand shop you're not interested in, just to practice with. And you'll also need some coloured paper for the tea roses and for the paper leaves. So 1 sheet of A4 coloured paper will provide you with enough petals for 1.5 tea roses. So if you're making this arrangement as is, you will need 2 sheets of A4 paper for the tea roses. I usually use the De La Rowney Canford paper, which is 150 GSM, and it's a matte paper. And on occasion I'll also use 120 GSM paper. I like to get this from Paperbox. I'm not affiliated with any of these companies, it's just what I like to use. So for the bright colours I would generally go for the De La Rowney paper, and if you're looking for a more pastel shade then I do recommend Paperbox. For the leaves you'll need to have up to 3 shades of paper in the house colours that you've chosen, and you'll need approximately 15 centimetres by 21 centimetres in each colour for each bouquet that you're making. Again, you're free to mix and match these colours to make this arrangement uniquely yours. Ribbon wise, I like to use this single-sided knitted ribbon for binding the outer edge of the hand pieces. You've got a little bit of stretch in it so you can curl it around and wind it up without the ribbon wrinkling. But I do like to use the double-sided satin for the trailing ribbons. So I'll just summarise the equipment now, and do pause the video if you need to write these down on your shopping list. So we need to do the background work before we can start assembling this lovely arrangement. For each bouquet that you're making, you'll need to make 6 foil stems. I do this using the kitchen foil, and again, if I can manage it, I will put a card up on the screen. Once you have your foil stems, on 3 of them you will need to make my standard novella book rose. This is made using petal template number 1. On the other 3 you'll need to make 3 coloured paper tea roses using petal template number 2. These flowers are all made using my standard processes, which I've detailed in parts 2 and 3 as I've already mentioned, and the book page roses will take about maybe 15 minutes to make each. I can make a few more than that because I've been doing this for years, and I think the more you practice, the faster you'll get. And when you get up to speed, you'll probably be able to make about 6 of these book page roses in about 30 minutes. The tea roses are slightly more complicated because you've got to curl all the individual petals, and also it takes longer to cut the petals. But again, you should be able to make all of these roses within about an hour, maybe an hour and a half if you're new. So you'll also need to prepare 3 pairs of leaves in each of your chosen colours. If you're changing the colours of the arrangement, in total you'll need 9 pairs of leaves or 18 single leaves. When I make the leaves, I usually make them in pairs, double-ended on a strip of wire. And for this arrangement, I'll use a length of wire that is 26 centimetres long. And I do cut the notches around the edge of the leaves on this arrangement as well. Once you've prepared all of your roses and all of your leaves, you need to trim the stems of the roses to about 17 centimetres. You can make this longer if you want a longer handpiece, but I've found that 17 centimetres is a good standard size to use. I measure this measurement not from the top of the rose, but from the top of the stem, on the underside of the rose. The stems all need to be fully bound in florist tape. I'm using some pre-made examples in this tutorial, which are only part bound at this point, and I will bind them fully later on, but you absolutely need to fully bind the stems with the florist tape. So once you've got all of your leaves and all of your flowers prepared, we can start the fun part of assembling them. So the first thing I'll do here is attach the leaves to the stems of the roses. Now I have bound these leaves together. So in this example, I'm using red, gold and green. That sounds like a culture club. Karma chameleon, red, gold and green. Anyway, I'll bind the gold leaves in their pairs. And then I'll bind the red and green leaves together so that we have 2 red and 2 green leaves on one spray. As a general rule, I will use 1 pair of leaves in one colour on the tea roses and 2 pairs of leaves in the other colours on the book roses. Now what we want to do is align them so that they peek out over the edge of the rose. You can do this by bending the wire at about 3 to 4 centimetres and then hold the wire, the flat edge of the wire, against the stem about 3 to 4 centimetres on the underside of the rose, and then using the florist tape just bind it in place until all of the wire is covered. It can sometimes be helpful to use a little bit of PVA glue on the end of the florist tape just to seal and hold that in place. So you need to do this for all of your leaves, and remember that we have 1 pair of leaves in colour 1 on the tea roses and 2 pairs of leaves on the book page roses. So to arrange the flowers, I will take the 3 book page roses and bring them together so that the leaves are facing outwards, and you want to arrange your flowers so that the petals on the book page roses are not squished. You can tease them out gently with your fingertips, and you also want to make sure that they're all level at the top. I will normally hold these 3 book roses together with a little bit of florist tape. I'll just wrap that around and seal it with a little bit of PVA glue. And then I'll take the tea roses and I want to nestle them in between the book page roses. Make sure the leaves are facing outwards. Attach the 3rd tea rose and bring round the florist tape. And then seal that off with a little bit of PVA glue. And now we can do the final adjustments on the arrangement so that the tea roses are all level, and again we'll kind of push and pull the tea roses so that the petals are in alignment with the book page petals. And now the arrangement is coming together nicely, we just need to add the twine. Full details on the twine binding is in part 5 of the Bouquet toolkit, and I use a natural coloured twine. This is a Scottish twine. It's not consistently the same thickness throughout, and as you're winding it, just make sure that you don't have any gaps, and you can use your fingertips just to push the twine together. And this is a standard process that I will use on any twine bound bouquet. And the last finishing touches is to add your trailing ribbons. You can use any length of ribbon that you like. You can have it flow into the ground if you want. You can use a thicker ribbon, a thinner ribbon. You can use a double-sided satin. You could use organza, anything that you like. I would tend to use trailing ribbons in 1 or 2 of the house colours that are in the specific arrangement that I've made. As standard, I would cut the ribbon lengths at 90 centimetres and then simply tie it at the top of the handpiece. So I hope that's given you enough information so that you can create your own house bouquet. And if you have any questions, do pop them in the comments below and I will answer them as soon as I see them.